Hi everyone, I am very excited today because I have been playing around with my understanding of Mātauranga Māori and how we can fit it into our subject of English, and I think it definitely, what I'm playing around with definitely would suit any subject areas, so spread the word. As many of you know, I had a play around with the Lord of the Flies, the ultimate dead white guy book, and looked at how we could put sort of a tikanga lens on some of the aspects of that novel. For example, thinking about Piggy, he's the only one that always sees reason, he's really connected, he's thinking straight, and he's the only one that always, he never loses sight of his whakapapa, where he's from, and his tūranga waiwai. He is always talking about, my auntie says this, and these are the rules back home and things, and so he keeps at that tikanga, and because he is so grounded, he stays sane, right? So you can do that with any character in your novel, and you can look at a multitude of tikanga values, such as manaakitanga and things, and apply them to anything. So what I have since done is, I did have 19 concepts that I was playing around with, and it drove me nuts that I didn't have 20, but now I have 20, and I've added those to I call them concept labels, because they are a tikanga concept, and I've made little labels that you can use in any of your resources. So I've been playing around with my labels because I have thought about how I can transform Maslow's hierarchy of needs with a Mātauranga Māori lens. So this is what I've done. Where's my thing? Okay. So this is me playing around, and I think it's important that everyone understands it's okay to play around and have a think, and it's so exciting about what you end up finding. So here, this is grounded in the idea of te kore, te pō, and te Mārama. So te kore is nothingness kind of thing. So there is nothing there. It is a vacuum, but there is potential, because there is nothing, but there is potential, okay? So we start off there, and you could say a character begins there, and then there is te pō, so the night, where there is just a little quiver of movement. There is the beginnings of a bit of life, okay? And then I was thinking, so put your Maslow hat on for a minute and think about those physiological needs, the air, the homeostasis, the food, the water, and so on, that we need to survive. And then the next layer up is safety, and so on, and then we get to love. So if we have all of those things in those first couple of layers, and we look at that from a Mātauranga Māori lens, so I've got here aroha, we all need love, kaitiakitanga, so that sense of guardianship, ownership, kaupapa, kotahitanga, manaakitanga, tūranga waiwai, knowing where you're from, the wānanga, the wisdom, whakapapa, your family tree, and so on, whanaungatanga. If you have those things, you start to rise out of te kore into the night, and then once they are embedded, then that person or that character comes into te Mārama, the world of light. Through that, once they have all of those things and they are part of their lives, they can gain te ihi, te wehi, and te wana. So that idea of the, what have I said here, physical, spiritual, mental, emotional completeness. So, and then there's that emotional sense of self that comes along with that strong sense of self. And then with that is wana, te wana, which is about, if everyone has these things, then that's that collective energy. So these are energies, and this is a collective energy. So that's that next phase in Maslow. And then from there, you've got your mana, right? And rangatiratanga, so that's self-determination, autonomy, and rule. From there, you get mana motuhake. So that's your again, your control over your own destiny. And so, I know you can't really see it, but I might stick a PDF on my freebies or something of it. I just want you to understand that it's okay to play around with this. And I've got these labels and I can move them around, and some people might think there are other things from tikanga Māori that could fit in there, or they might want to take out this layer completely. It's okay to play around. So I hope you enjoy having a bit of a muck around with that, and the critical thinking that comes with it is really, really exciting, especially when you're talking about your character. So I'm reading Shooting Stars, I keep calling it Starburst, with my year 10s at the moment, and the idea that Egan, who's living as a runaway in the forest with his mother, he actually starts off with mana motuhake. They are completely in control of their destiny in the forest. But then he goes to Auckland, goes on the streets, which isn't so bad, until he goes to live with his father, and then of course it slowly erodes, and he no longer even has that first layer of things. So that's your safety and things. Okay, so have a think about it. The next thing I want to have a play around with, I don't know that I can do it, is you know, the id, the ego, and the super ego. How can we look at that through a Mātauranga Māori lens? And all I do is I take my 20 concepts and I look at them and I play around with them and I move them around on the page, or I just take one. So that's something that you can do as well. So don't be afraid, because it is really exciting. It totally extends your critical thinking, kids' critical thinking. And the other cool thing is that you actually find you've got this whole meta language. Instead of being like the castle and talking about just the vibe of the thing, that movie, The Castle, fantastic by the way, you've actually got a language, you know, like Tūranga Waiwai is not just about place, it's about much more than that. It's about that spiritual connection and that feeling that you belong there and that you are grounded there. You know, there's so much more to it. So you've got a word there that doesn't have an equivalent in English. So this is opening up a whole new world for those of us who haven't inhabited this world before. And I encourage you to play with it. I encourage you to extend your critical thinking through this fabulous opportunity. And yeah, extend that vocab, because it is gold and it is fun. So anyway, I've got some links below so that you can grab those labels that you can move around and play with. And I'll stick my little, I've called it Aotearoa's hierarchy of needs, my little Maslow rejigged. I'll stick that in the freebies library, so enjoy.